Hi there, you're watching the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we're meeting in the garden and we're going to do a front yard garden tour for the first weekend in August 2024 in a Zone 9A on the Oregon coast. It has been a very pleasant summer. We've had some really good hot days, and this last week we had 3 days of rain and it's overcast today. Maybe it's foggy. Is it overcast? It's foggy. It has definitely been high on the humidity index in the last few days for sure. But no rain for like maybe 3 or 4 days. So there are a couple of things that kind of got weighed down in the rain a few days ago, but mostly everything's looking really good. And I am looking forward to showing you what it looks like now because I have a lot of deadheading and trimming back to do so that we have a beautiful garden in August. So I wanted to get this video out and show you what's going on because I expect for the next, I'm going to start pruning this next week, and then it'll be a couple of weeks of, far less blooms, and then it'll perk back up again. So we're gonna start here with the Star of Jasmine. She's like seriously in bloom now, just blossoms everywhere, and it smells so good. She's climbing, she's super happy. I still have a table of things to plant. Thankfully, we live in a mild climate and I can still be planting things. That'll come in another video. Rose Campium still looking really fantastic with tons of blooms. The hostas are starting to look a little wary, a little tired this time of year, which is typical for hostas in August. But the Pearly Everlasting is in full bloom, and we get behind this hosta and we move this fern out of the way. Look, I have hellebores in here blooming. The Lenten roses that are normally blooming in February are in there blooming. The hydrangeas have started to pop open, which is really fun. The lovey-dovey supertunias are looking great pretty much everywhere in the garden right now. And we've got some alliums in bloom up there. Those are, I don't know, 5.5 feet tall. Let's see. I'm 5'4". They're a couple inches taller than me, so yeah, probably 5.5 inches tall, or 5.5 feet tall. Did I say inches? 5.5 feet. We've got red roses in bloom. Look at these. They're so beautiful. The catmint's blooming. We've got a blush rose back there. The yellow roses are blooming. The red roses are blooming. I know I showed you these in a video recently, but it's just so fun to see all those roses all on one stem. But you could see they are falling apart, and it's definitely time to come in and take that stem down. All right, moving on, we have this Bewitch Dahlia. Look at her. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's like, it's so full all the way around. Really loving it. A little disappointed that the rest of my dahlias did not come up this year. We have a couple that are like 2-3 inches tall. They're not gonna get to bloom. This one is probably big enough to bloom in the next few weeks, but it's certainly not getting in as much sun as you'd think it would want underneath this Edgeworthia, which is quite large. This is a fantastic view right now. We can see so many beautiful things. There's a little tiny lily down here, some incredible sunflowers. We've got a creamy, yellowy gladiola opening up right here. We've got a large lily. It's like pink and white. It's so pretty. And then we've got the crocosmia. You can see a little peek of the blue hydrangea behind her. This rose of Sharon is all budded up. We've got more rose campium right in here, kind of sparkling through the hot pink flower, next to this big pot of bubblegum supertunia. That is one plant, y'all. One single plant is in there. And then we've got a tub of dahlias that are doing okay. Over this direction, we do have one goat's beard in bloom from our recent transplant. The rest of the transplants look absolutely terrible. They dried up. So we'll keep the soil moist through the summer, feed them, and I have utmost confidence that they will come back next year. They are perennials. This is the saffron finch supertunia. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, really enjoy this flower. Let's see, we've got more rose campium along the road there. We do have some blue-eyed grass still hanging in there. Looks like this Beyond Midnight Bluebeard is starting to get all of her little buds. That'll be exciting. And the Lady's Mantle is all in bloom, looking really beautiful. We've got Black-Eyed Susans starting to open up. These ones aren't quite as far along, but they are budded. And we've got some Super Bells, Lemon Slice blooming back this direction. Supertunia bubblegums, one plant per pot, looking gorgeous. We still have a little bit of Veronica kind of sparkling through there. And let's go ahead and back up. We've got the Jazzberry is back in bloom. It struggled pretty hard. It got hit by slugs really bad, but it's looking much better. We've got the yellow crocosmia. It comes out a yellow color, but then it opens up kind of, it's not straight orange, but it's kind of like a fiery orange. We've got gladiolas blooming. They've been blooming. You can see this one's done. This gorgeous color. And then this one, ready? Look at that, so pretty. Next to this Vermillionaire that is like doing so fantastic. I really love how those colors play off of each other. In the background there, we've got borage, we've got ornamental oregano, we've got Hoopla Vivid Orchid. Hoopla Vivid Orchid, is that what it is? The Supertunia with the white, the purple and white edge. Isn't that so pretty? We have a Super Beana Sparkling Amethyst that came back from last year. We've got these buttery, creamy white with yellow snapdragons. We've got burgundy snapdragons. These all self-seeded. I planted this Supertunia. Everything else is self-seeded. And then we have a Vermillionaire in here that did overwinter, and it's starting to bloom. It has been hiding behind all of these snapdragons, and so it didn't have as much sun as the one across the way. But it's getting there, and it is starting to bloom. I just cut a bunch of rosemary away from it, so it has even more potential now. The Shasta daisies have been going for a little while. They still create a nice bright pop from far away, but they're definitely ready to be cut back some more. Sometimes when I cut them back, I'll get a little bit of second bloom, but not a whole lot. Crocosmia, this is the Crocosmia lucifer variety, and it is all splayed out and just too heavy. Need to stake it up. In these pots, I have Superbena, what is this? Violet or something like that. And this is the Silverberry Supertunia that overwintered and came back. The blooms are not as big this year as they were the last year, but I was really surprised to see it came back. It's supposed to be an annual. This here is Marshmallow, and it has a bunch of blooms coming on, and the leaves are so soft. They are so soft. Down here, we've got a huge patch of comfrey again. We still have some cranespill geranium that now needs to be cut back. The pineapple sage has gotten quite large already. It smells so good. And then we have this Supertunia in the ground, and it's looking good. It's mounded up on itself and it's behaving itself. I thought maybe it would get bigger and take up more space, but that's okay. Let's see what else. Over here, our pink perennial phlox has just started opening up. Tons of buds on it. Really good, healthy, sturdy looking plants. And then we have our late blooming Nymphophea. This is pumpkin. This is the pumpkin variety, blooming here. And then we have a perennial hibiscus that's getting large, but I've got to tie up this Crocosmia so it has a little bit more sun. This bed over here is just kind of ready to be deadheaded and not a whole lot going on, except that my winter hazels are putting on tons of new growth, which is exciting. We'll pop up over here, more rose campium. You can see that kind of sparkling through the whole garden. The pampas grass looks really fantastic. And then we do have our little climbing hydrangea, which is struggling so hard after it got broken and it's kind of burning, but it does have some new growth. So we have to just constantly come in here and remove the morning glory, the bindweed. Definitely don't want that. And it's loving the compost, of course. I'm pretty certain that if we could just keep those roots alive and growing, it will thrive. Everything over here is looking pretty good. Nothing's like really blooming or anything, although the Pontilla has put off a handful of blooms here and there. Looks like maybe some more coming up. There's one over there. There's one coming in right here. And then you can see all the Supertunia bubblegums and saffron finch blooming in there. So let's go ahead and pop out to the front. You can see the Crocosmia on each side. The grasses are all looking beautiful. And then we've got all the Supertunias in there looking great, which is exciting. We still haven't gotten any of those on drip irrigation or a soaking hose. We've been watering them by hand because we do have one hose that reaches all the way out here, but we don't use it that often, so because it's kind of inconvenient. But yeah, so most of the time we're just hand watering those with cans. And I don't know if you hand water things with cans, but you don't typically tend to water maybe enough with a watering can because you don't want to go back and forth to the hose bib over and over again when it's a distance. anyway, but they're doing good for what's going on. Let me pop up onto the front porch and show you what those baskets look like. And then we'll do an overview of what the medicine garden looks like, and that'll be it for today. Right here is a side view of the porch baskets. I am very intrigued at how this Super Tunia bubblegum is growing in this like flat style and not draping down. You know, like how those are Super Tunia, no, Mini Vista yellows. That's what those are. And you see how they've mounded up and then they're spilling. This one is just growing in like this horizontal. So is the one down there. I find that strange. And then with the Mini Vista yellows, I have Super Bina Cashmere Pink mixed in with them, and they're doing great. This one is a pink begonia, which it suffered, and then the lower leaves died, and I don't know, maybe I should have pinched it back when it was back here. There's no leaves down here, so if I pinch it back to like a normal height, I won't get any more growth off of it, so it's just kind of a funny thing right now. But the Mini Vistas are looking really fantastic, and this is the same as the one down there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the medicine garden. It is kind of a mess right now. If you look straight down, we've got a big patch of bronze fennel that's all coming into bloom. More cranesbill geranium is blooming. We have honeysuckle climbing up this vine, and you could see a clematis flower blooming down there. That kind of matches the cranesbill geranium. We do have lavender blooming. The blueberries didn't do as well this year as they have in previous years, but I have a remedy for those next year. They're growing, they're fine, they're just not producing like they potentially could. Tons of artemisia. The walking Egyptian onions are just like such a mess in there, and the lovage is getting too much sun, so it's burnt. And then the comfrey is kind of like taking over this side of the garden. But the yellow yarrow is resilient and poking up through it anyways. Over on this side, we have tons of the verbena. This is the I think it's Verbena canadensis, if I'm right. I don't know. It's just the species verbena. It self-seeds, but not horribly. Just kind of keeps seeding itself in this area. It's beautiful. It creates such a fun, different kind of structure that nothing else does. So I love it. We do have some nasturtiums blooming down there. The squash is doing okay. And then all those white flowers are all sedum in bloom. And then you can see our strawberry column is doing fantastic. I can see strawberries all the way from here. Strawberry flowers. We've picked a lot of strawberries off of there this summer, which is super fun. And the shade basket is still looking really fantastic. We planted this in March with bacopa and shamrocks. Look at this shamrock. Can you believe that? It's so big. It's so fun. It just loves it. I haven't done any trimming on it. Shamrock's in bloom. You can see this is the shamrock bloom. Oh, it's so sweet. Super, super fun. I will say that we're about to do a big project in the herb garden, and all of this vinca is going to get removed. Most of the sedum's going to get removed. We're going to take out most of the comfrey. There's some other things. I am ready to just, as things finish for the season, we're going to be pulling them out and starting fresh it's just time. It's just kind of looking messy, and I'm ready for something new. We also have the naturalized crocosmia here. This is just like, one of my mentors called it roadside orange. And it's not quite as vivid as the ones that we have out front. It's not as well structured, but it does give it a little orange sparkle. Oh, I don't know how I missed these things. There's more lilies blooming here. So I showed you the lilies over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's these ones over here. They smell so good. They're just perfuming the air everywhere. And then I was gonna point out that the Proven Winners rose that I have yet to plant is getting ready to bloom, which is so fun. This is the Oh So Easy Ice Baby. Looks really good and healthy. Oh, goodness gracious. I really need to get things planted over here. This one's about to bloom too. All these cute little buds. Super fun. Well, that is the front yard in August. I am going to be sharing the lower garden with you in another video, the moon garden in another video, and the backyard in yet another video, because so many things are going on and I don't want to take up tons of your time with hours and hours of video just touring the garden. But I do really enjoy walking through the garden with you all and sharing all of our successes and everything that we're struggling with, so that maybe you don't feel alone in your struggles. But mostly, I really just love taking a walk. I wish you were here and we could just slowly walk through the garden together. And I would love to hear your questions and your feedback. Make sure that you're commenting and letting me know what you think of the garden. If you have questions about the garden, or if you have anything that you would like to share about your own garden that's going on that's like, this is so amazing and beautiful, I would love to hear about it, or send me a picture. Really fun to share our gardens together that way. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the August front yard garden tour, and I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, keep celebrating your life. Bye.